All right, it's 4-3. We're going to start. Today we're going to talk about the three-prong system for growing your criminal firm. And the goal of this session is to give you ideas and strategy to grow your firm fast. And this is designed for firms that are looking to be aggressive, right? If you're looking to be a little more conservative, there are other strategies I would employ. This is assuming you're already established and you really want to put the pedal to the metal. All right, so warning, this is not tactical. All right, so I'm not going to show you like how to set up ads and things like that. However, it is very, very strategic, and these nuances can make or break your advertising if not done correctly with the right timing and expectations around it, right? So again, this is geared towards growth. If you're newer and you're starting off, I would break off pieces of this strategy depending on where you're at and what you need. But again, I'm assuming that we're like, hey, let's go. So the assumptions for this is assumptions for the ideal marketing system. So one of the assumptions is we have a healthy marketing budget. Now, it doesn't have to be this high necessarily, but in the 10 to 15K range, right? We're looking to make a lot here. We're looking to really grow. We're looking to really like go all in. And the reason I like to have these assumptions is we can always tone this down. But this is like, hey, we kind of have a lot of room to gallop here. Let's gallop. We are also assuming that we have a dialed in sales and intake process so that no lead ever falls through the cracks, right? If you have leads that are leaking through your system, it's gonna really cut these numbers and these profits down. And I'm going to show you towards the end of the presentation that we can actually generate with something like this. And the next is we have staff to work the cases that we don't want, right? Because a lot of these, we may not want these cases as an attorney, right? A lot of attorneys are picky with what they want to do and how they want to do it. And so we're assuming that we have staff that we're going to put all this on, right? We're operators, we're owners, we're not necessarily going to be doing all of this stuff. All right. So that's an important distinction. And we can also be patient, which is why I mentioned that thing about timing is if we need money right now, we're not employing this entire system. We're employing a piece of this system. So that's a really important thing, right? We have the ability to be patient throughout a few months of advertising because we're building something larger here. Again, if you need quick results, there are other methods that we can employ within this system that will get you faster results. Now, this is just some basic like business knowledge that relates to criminal firms really well. We're going to examine what firms and businesses that make the most money do. So it's no mystery, right? In the legal world that personal injury firms make huge sums of money. But why, right? It's not like they're hitting home runs on every single case. Most of the time it's like a 10K settlement, right? That's like the minimums generally that they're getting, which is still a lot. Don't get me wrong, but they're not getting millions and millions of dollars every single time. But what they are relying on, what they have the patience to rely on is when that one case comes along and pays them $5 million or $2 million or even $100,000, right? One case like that can really boost your entire revenue and allow you to reinvest in your firm and also take a lot of profit out, right? And so this is how personal injury firms grow, right? They just dump tons and tons of money into marketing and they're waiting for that home run. And when it comes, they wind up and they knock it out of the park. All right. So it's a very patient game for them. It's not just, millions. Eventually, if you get like Morgan, it is. But again, it's really important that they have that patience. Otherwise, it wouldn't work for them. And most of the PI firms that it doesn't work for, they don't have that patience. And there's a long list of PI firms that it doesn't work for. Right. So the other thing is what lesson can we take from this, right? The biggest companies sell or collect as much money from as possible from their clients. And they either have really large lifetime values or they make really large lump sums. So I put Apple here as an example, right? This is another really great example. Apple sells a really expensive product and they also have a great lifetime value because you don't just buy one iPhone, right? You buy every iPhone that comes out. So they continue to make large amounts of money from their clients, right? Large sums of money, and they have large lifetime values, which is what allows them to grow so much and be so profitable. Same with Netflix, right? Netflix has a super long lifetime of a customer. You generally don't ever cancel Netflix. In fact, when your card expires, you generally call them and give them money. That's how valuable their service is. But again, they're relying on their large lifetime value of a customer to be profitable, to grow, to do all of these things. And then I have the example again of a personal injury firm. They make giant sums of money up front, right? So it's really important that we have the ability or we have some sort of lever in our firm to make larger sums of money while we're doing other things. And that's a part of one of the prongs that we're going to target here. So now we're going to examine what a solid marketing foundation looks like. And again, we're operating under the assumptions that we have time, we have patience, we have money to build all of this out, because it's not built in a month. This can take, a year to build, right? 6 months if you're really going crazy. But the first is you want to have a great reputation and happy clients. And the reason we want to do this is so our SEO, so our organic rankings and our referral rate increases, right? So if people are leaving us reviews and people are referring us people, then our SEO is going to go up and our referral rate is going to increase, which is only going to monetize our existing pool of customers more. So that's a huge one, right? The best thing you could do is have a great reputation. Super, super important. And I'm going to show you how to obviously get that, right? Now, the second thing is having a cash flow vehicle that has high net margins. So this way we're making money every day, week, month, and we're able to pay our expenses off. We're able to pay our marketing off, and we're paying a little bit of money to our profit account, right? So this is really important, and we want to have that cash flow coming in because that's going to keep the lights on, right? If we have to wait 6 months like a PI attorney, it could be really hard to run $10, $20, $30,000 marketing budgets for 6 months without seeing a penny. The nice thing about criminal is you have vehicles within your firm that you can go after that can generate nice amounts of cash flow. Now, the third thing is we want to have a high ticket product that creates outsized returns. Now, this goes back to the personal injury example, right? They're just waiting for that 1 out of 30, 1 out of 40 case that comes through and just knocks it out of the park for them. That's going to create those outsized returns. And this is what's going to give us explosive returns and fuel more growth and higher profits, right? So we have a cash flow vehicle, we have a high ticket product, and now we're really maximizing everything in our firm. The next thing is having a high flow of traffic to your website, right? This is going to build your overall SEO. It's going to build your reputation. Google is going to recognize that you have tons and tons of people coming to you for help. And that's really, really going to help your organic rankings, which is going to bring your site up, and it's going to bring your costs down as far as your marketing acquisition cost. And then the next thing is having the ability to upsell / cross-sell your clients. This is the idea that, Apple has, right? They're able to, when you buy an iPhone, now you can buy the headphones, and now you can buy the computer, now you can buy the tablet. So they're able to monetize their clients much further, which really, really helps their overall profitability, because they only paid one time to acquire that customer, and now they just sell them, and they keep doing that forever pretty much. And so if we have a client that comes to the firm, right, and we can make more on that client because they either break the law again, or they need your help again, or they have a friend, and now you're their attorney, it's going to really, really help you, right? Because once they come to you, like, you're their attorney. That's just generally how it goes if you do a good job. So the next piece before we get into the strategy is the strategy matters, right? So if your current marketing strategy or plan of attack is just taking on cases that you like, you're not going to maximize your potential, right? We want every piece of our strategy to A, make us money, and then B, hopefully have an ancillary benefit to the firm if possible. So obviously making money is the main goal, but we want to make sure that we're also building our firm up in the long run and investing in it. So that way our costs come down and we just keep getting more and more outsized returns from the strategy. And so maximizing the strategy can make a huge difference to your bottom line, even if you don't change your operation, right? So let's say you're like a decent sized firm and you already have most of this fulfillment in place. The strategy that I'll show you and thinking about how to maximize each practice area can have a huge, huge impact. And I have this guy here. This is a cool podcast I listened to recently. It's called The Diary of a CEO. So this guy, he's a pretty young guy. He took his company public, but initially he was going to take his company public in Europe on the like Dusseldorf Stock Exchange or something like that, right? And he was going to get $4 million for it when he took it public for his shares as soon as they ring the bell, right? And somebody told him that, hey, if you just take your exact same company and you list it on the NASDAQ, you can get 3 or 4 times what you'll get in Europe just because of the vehicle and just because of the strategy of going to the NASDAQ. And so he did that, and he literally made 3 or 4 times on his shares, and he literally didn't change anything about his company. It was just strictly the strategy of going public. And so the strategy I'll show you here today will hopefully help you make way more on your current marketing, right? If you're already spending money and we just put the right strategy in place, it will have a huge, huge impact. So what is a strategy, right? As a criminal firm, you have a few things that you can target at scale. And the first one is traffic tickets. I know, let's go, roll your eyes, scoff at me, but there's a reason for this. The next is DUIs, which a lot of people do, and we love DUIs. And then there's general criminal. And under general criminal, there's all kinds of stuff. There's not tons of volume for each individual category under criminal, but if you target all the keywords and criminal by itself, you can generate significant amounts of volume. And the reason for that is generally people don't search for like a murder attorney because they're kind of scared to type that into Google. So instead, they'll search for a criminal attorney. You will get the occasional person that is willing to type in murder attorney or, like sexual crime attorney or rape attorney, things like that. But those are a little more rare than just the general criminal. And then on like the federal side, like you have all kinds of things under the federal category. So again, those are the three main buckets. And there's a reason we're going to target each one of these. And so I'll show you and I'll break down each one. And then we're going to look at a calculator on the implications of breaking down each one. So first is traffic tickets. The considerations of traffic tickets. So first is they have a very low cost of acquisition. So to acquire a client for traffic tickets, maybe it's $150, maybe it's $200. And the goal here is not to make outrageous amounts of money on this, right? People are willing to go on record and say that they like you if you help them with a traffic ticket. If you help someone with a rape crime, they're probably not going to leave you a review or do a testimonial because they're afraid to associate themselves with that crime, even if they did it or didn't do it, right? It's much harder to get testimonials out of people who are doing serious, criminal cases versus your traffic tickets. And a great example here is the ticket clinic. This is just one ticket clinic location and they have 700 reviews. If your firm had 700 reviews and you were doing all of criminal, not just tickets, your rankings will be off the charts, right? So this is a huge ancillary benefit. Now, as far as the cash flow is concerned, it's decent cash flow. And you'll see that in the projections I'm going to show you in a few slides here. But if you're paying, $150, $200 to acquire this client and you're making hopefully $300, $400, maybe you're making a little bit of money in there, right? But again, it's not about the money in this case. It's about the ancillary benefits. And if we can make a little bit on this, we're getting Google reviews and we're getting paid to get them, right? So that's a huge, huge benefit. This is also going to increase the traffic to your site. So the more traffic that's coming into your ecosystem, the more Google is going to recognize that, hey, these people are doing good work. There's a lot of people coming to the site. There's people leaving reviews. Clearly, they're doing a good job. And depending on how you structure your site, if you do it the right way, they're going to add weight to your criminal rankings, all of your rankings, right? So super, super strategic here. The other thing is traffic tickets are pretty low as far as operational drag is concerned. You're not preparing for a trial here. You're not going to court for hours and hours and hours. So they're not going to take up giant amounts of time. And hopefully we're efficient enough to carve out some profit on this, right? A decent amount of profit. And then the next is clients can/will return to you if you do a good job. So, how many times do people get traffic tickets? I don't have metrics on that, but let's just say that this person later goes and gets a DUI. 1 out of every 10 traffic ticket gets a DUI. Well, now they're going to return to you if you did a good job. And now you have monetized that client further, which equals a higher lifetime value for your traffic ticket clients. This does not include referrals. It does not include reviews for people coming in. So again, this by itself, not super profitable right off the bat. But a lot of companies understand what a loss leader is, and they're willing to pay for it for strategic reasons. Those reasons here are referrals, reviews, increased traffic to your site, increased rankings, and you're going to get testimonials, right? If you can squeeze some testimonials out of people. And if you're doing the testimonials for this, you don't have to make it super traffic specific. You can probe them with questions just about the firm, about you, about their experience, not about the traffic ticket. So that way that referral and that testimonial can be used in other practice areas or subsets of your practice area. If they just go on record and say, hey, Joe was awesome. He really handled my case the way I wanted it to be. He got a great outcome and I'm super happy. I highly recommend him, right? I didn't mention a practice area there, but I talked about the firm as a whole. And now I can use that review in multiple places. So again, strategy here. We're thinking about strategy because these clients are very cheap to acquire and we could do this at scale. Now, the next one is DUIs, right? So the considerations for DUIs is it has a good cost of acquisition. And I say good because that's a relative term. So compared to traffic tickets, it's obviously a little higher. Compared to criminal, it can be right in line with general criminal. It could be a little bit lower. But the nice thing about DUIs is it has amazing cash flow. So this goes back to, running all of the expenses, keeping the lights on, and also, obviously making a profit. Just DUI as a vehicle by itself is super profitable. I love it. And the cases close really fast. So we're not waiting. Back to the personal injury example, we're not waiting months and months and months for that home run. These are coming in as fast as you want them to, right? As much as you want to spend to acquire these clients, they're going to come in just that fast. And people are still willing to go on record and say that they like you, right? This isn't a giant offense these days, so they're not like super shameful about it. And so you'll still get some testimonials and some Google reviews from this, not as many as traffic tickets. And you could just see that by looking up firms in your area that do traffic tickets versus DUIs. The traffic ticket firms will have hundreds of reviews. The DUI firms will not. All right. So there is, there is some shame to this, obviously. Now, the other thing, as far as DUIs are concerned, is it's not very high when it comes to operational drag, right? We're still not doing crazy trials that are going to last months and months and months and months. So it's not that time intensive. And so it's very, very profitable, and you can scale this quite a bit. When I say operational drag, it just means about scale. And then the next thing is clients can and will return to you if you do a good job. Again, hopefully these people consider you their attorney. And, when we listen to client calls, because we do that for our clients, we'll hear like, hey, we got another DUI, or hey, we're back. And you'll get repeat customers from this, which is just going to increase that lifetime value, which is just going to increase your profit margins, because you've already paid one time to acquire this client, and then they keep coming back to you. So super, super powerful. Now, I put a couple of screenshots here just to give you an idea of why DUI is one of our favorite practice areas. So the top view there is a pipeline value in like a 30-day window, $35,000 in pipeline value, 20% closing rate. So that's a very high closing rate for internet leads. The one below that is a 28% closing rate. And then the one below that was actually the guy's first month of advertising. He came out swinging. It was a 50% closing rate. So again, the case is closed fast. It's really good cash flow. And it's just one more vehicle within your firm to really maximize, right? We're looking to really grow crazy here. We're not looking to be conservative. You can obviously be conservative with all these things. I'm just giving you guys what you can do. And then the next one is general criminal. So the considerations here are, it has a decent cost of acquisition. Now, if we're taking every criminal case, it'll have a pretty good cost of acquisition, because we're just taking all the criminal cases that come through. If we're waiting for those monster cases that are going to be giant, felony cases, and I have a little Google snapshot here, anywhere from $35,000 to $100,000, depending on where you're at, what you're charging, all that stuff. But again, these cases have the potential to produce those outsized returns, which is the next consideration. Now, it's obviously not as large as PI, but as returns go, for a cost of acquisition of $500 to $700, if you can make $50,000 off of that, that is an insane return on your investment, right? This is also going to produce a high flow of traffic to your site, because if you're doing general criminal like this and you're starting to answer questions about criminal cases, people Google those all the time, because again, it's really important for them to understand what they've done and what the implications are. So it's really easy to get this kind of traffic to your site. I don't want to say easy, it's very competitive, but there's a lot of things you can write about and content you could produce around criminal advertising. And the next one is clients can and will return to you if you do a good job. Again, these clients have the potential to be continuously monetized if they come back to you, or if the case just drags on, right? If it's a really, really big case, then you don't need them to return to you necessarily. They're just going to pay you that big lump sum value, which is going to produce, again, that huge outsized return that's going to boost everything in your firm. So you only need a couple of these a year, right, to really, really hammer down your bottom line. And then the next consideration is you have to be patient for the big ones, right? So we have our traffic tickets working for us in the background that's bringing us just transactional volume, right? Getting us reviews, doing all the things I talked about. You have your DUIs, which is like your main cash flow vehicle, just cranking out DUIs on a regular basis. And then you're just being super patient over here on the criminal side, waiting for the big ones to come through. And when they do, again, you wind up and you bat them out of the park, right? So this is how you can put together a strategy. And again, it's not just about making money. Obviously, that's the goal, right? We want to be profitable, but all of the ancillary benefits I talked about, reviews, testimonials, rankings, when all of these things are working together, you have a really, really, really powerful system, in your hands. And so what I want to show you here is I put together this little projection sheet to show you what this could look like, right? Because we talked tons of strategy, very high level. Again, I didn't want to go super, super in depth on tactics, just because I think the strategy is more important here. But what I have here is a simple calculator. So I'll walk you through this. So we have each individual practice area, right? I'm just calling them practice areas. And we have different metrics associated with each. So for traffic tickets, the leads can cost around $50. For DUI, they can cost around $150. And for criminal, they can cost around $80, right? That's just kind of nationwide. It could be different in your area. Now, the closing rate of these leads for traffic tickets, it could be as high as 45%. It could be higher than that. I'm just going kind of conservative through all of these metrics. For DUI, you can close at 25%. In that presentation, there was a guy closing at 50. And for criminal, it can close higher, but let's just say we're only closing like the whales that come through. Like 5% of the leads that come through are going to be good, solid, valuable cases that are going to pay us a lot of money. And I'll play with the money values a little bit. Now, for the case values, let's say a traffic ticket makes us 400, a DUI makes us 4,000, and a criminal case makes us 40, right? These are just basic values. Again, these can be all over the board. I've heard of DUIs costing 10,000. I've heard of DUIs costing 2,000. I'm just picking numbers that I hear most of the time. Criminal, this could be a little high. I'll play with a number here. And then the review rate. So this is that ancillary benefit I was talking about. Let's just say that we are doing a pretty good job of getting reviews from our traffic tickets, and we can get 30% of our clients to leave us a review. I think it could be much higher if you're more aggressive, but let's just say 30%. And let's just say the DUI leave us reviews at 10% and criminal leaves us reviews at 10% also, right? They're willing to just go say nice things about the firm, not about what they did. Okay, so these are our review rates. So let's just say in the beginning of this presentation, I said, if you have a $15,000 budget, what is that going to do for us? So, and this is monthly, by the way. So if we're spending $3K a month on traffic tickets, $7,000 a month on DUIs, and $5,000 a month on criminal, and I just broke this up, kind of randomly, what is that going to do for us? So for traffic tickets, that's going to be roughly 60 leads. For DUI, it's going to be 47. For criminal, it's going to be 63. Now, based on our closing rates over here, that would be 27 traffic ticket clients. That would be 12 DUI clients. And that would be 3 criminal clients, right? And there's some decimals in here, which is why these values will look funny. As far as revenue is concerned, that would be 10K in traffic tickets, 46,000 in DUI, and 125,000 in criminal, right? That's like your outsized returns per month. And again, it may not work out per month every single time like that. Maybe we have a bad month. Maybe we have a really good month. Maybe we have a super valuable case and they're not all super valuable, right? This is not a perfect system, but we're going to generate $182,000 off of 15K in spend. And then as far as reviews are concerned, we're going to generate 8 reviews, 1.2 DUI reviews, and 0.3 criminal reviews. So after a couple months, you'll get a whole criminal review once the sample sizes get large enough for these to play out. But that's what this system could look like. And again, once we start toggling these numbers, right? Let's say we are doing a great job closing DUI cases. Now we're looking at 19 DUI cases, $74,000 in value, bumping our entire revenue up to $200,000 a month. And again, this is going to bump all of the other ancillary benefits. Reviews are the ones that we can quantify, but it doesn't quantify your rankings. It doesn't quantify your LTV of those customers. It doesn't quantify your overall organic ranking. So how much traffic is coming to your site because of this. So again, there's a lot of implications when it comes to this type of stuff. I'll bump that back down to 25, and criminal will usually close around 10%. It's not 5%, but that's also assuming you're bringing on, general criminal cases as well. So I'm going to bump this value down to like 20,000 because maybe we'll get a couple whales, maybe we'll get a couple small fries, and you can kind of see the difference there, right? 6 criminal cases, the actual value ended up being a little bit lower there. So there's benefits to each, right? If you want to be really picky and you only want to take on the whales and they're going to be worth $40,000 to you, now you don't have to do as much work, except you're making just the same amount of money, which is why those types of cases are nice, because they're going to pay you outsized returns. So this is a very, very like high level strategy, but I wanted to give you guys some information on this because, I've audited a lot of accounts for criminal in the past, year or so. And a lot of times the strategy is not being employed like this. And again, this is a firm that's wanting to grow in all areas and doesn't care what type of cases they bring on. They're just trying to grow, right? They're trying to build their reputation, build their organic, and obviously make money. If you're a firm that's smaller and you're not looking to go crazy like this, right? My recommendation is you start with like DUI, because DUI is going to close really, really high. It's going to have great cash flow. It's going to be fast lead to sale closing rates. So there's a lot of benefits there. And then you can start to layer these other pieces of the strategy on, because I do think they're very worthwhile. So again, pretty short presentation. I hope it was worth it to you guys. I hope it kind of got your mind going on what you can and can't do, and those general concepts on how you can squeeze as much out of your marketing as possible with these types of strategies. So hopefully it was helpful. If you guys have any questions, always feel free to email me or reach out in the Facebook group. And I'll be more than happy to jump on a call with you and just talk this stuff over because I'm a nerd and I really like it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Oops, sorry, I see a hand raise. You could drop it in the Q&A there. I was about to end the meeting. Caught me pretty quick. Can you see the Q&A panel at the bottom? About 15. So the question was, how many criminal firms did you look at nationally for close cases? We have like roughly 15 criminal firms across that do general criminal. What markets? Meaning like what subsets? Kind of all over the board. So for you though, it's not as many in your subsets because you're after the different types of criminal, right? Like more of the white collar. Um, I'm just talking like general criminal that anybody will take, right? That general keyword criminal. Usually you'll see that close to like 10%. For you though, I would imagine when we can get volume for those more specific keywords, which I think we're doing now, because I was actually looking at your account this week. Other than a few keywords, I would hope that those will close higher because we're being very specific and that's who you cater to. So 10%, 5%, not that great for you. I think we could do better than that. But it's kind of just a little bit of, we got to test those keywords because we've added a ton to your account recently. And for those of you on here, the person asking a question is actually one of our clients. So did that answer your question? Okay, yeah, hopefully it was helpful. All right, everybody. Any other questions before I hop off? I appreciate everybody's attention and hopefully you guys found it worthwhile. All right. I will see you guys on the next one.